Fala pessoal, sejam todos bem-vindos ao meu canal. Eu sou a Rai. E galera, seguinte, estou trazendo aqui para vocês mais um vídeo de The Outer Roads. Eu espero que vocês estejam gostando da série. Então bora logo aqui. Eu fiz algumas mudanças, gente. Eu deixei o Félix na nossa nave e eu trouxe a Nyoka um pouquinho, né, pra fazer um pouco de mudança, pra mudar um pouquinho aqui na gameplay. Eu quero ver o especial dela. Vem cá, gente. A Nyoka passou direto, meu Deus. Nyoka, aqui, fia. Vamos falar com ele aqui, então.
Thank you again for retrieving the bolt. It's every bit as complex as I'd heard, but I'm up to the challenge. Anyway, what can I do for you?
Para as Achei um cartucho de dados com detalhes de experimentos secretos. Tenho perguntas sobre... Vamos ver o tempo. Eu conheci Green.
Excellent timing on your part. I worked my fingers to nubs, but I've finally completed the Bolt 52 form. I dare say it will be my second greatest achievement after the reformations.
You're getting ahead of yourself again.
So I am. Do you have this cartridge? I'm working on a plan to reorganize the board. Slowly, peacefully, and with meticulous documentation.
What's gonna happen to the people here when the board figures out what you're doing?
Well, by that point, my hope is that we'll be on the board once more.
Maybe I'm worrying too much, but it seems the folks here get plans made for them an awful lot. When do they get to start making plans for themselves?
Once MSI is restored, the people of Monarch will be able to make more choices. We'll have all the brands and resources of the board here. But truly, I am getting ahead of myself. First, I need to submit the Bolt 52. With that data you're holding, of course.
Eu disse que de carta de dados é assim que eu chamo meu...
I knew there was something going on. This is exactly the proof we need. The board will have to welcome us back now. I'll transmit this data along with the completed Bolt 52 right away. After that, we'll sit back and quietly
Rádio pirata.
respond.
Interrompeu a transmissão de Monarca.
Broadcast from us.
Then it's good that I keep such meticulous notes. I've asked myself the same thing many times, especially seeing as the legal mechanisms we employed were part of the board's own bylaws.
Quer dizer que você iniciou seu próprio afastamento do conselho. Você está se precipitando de novo.
Not intentionally, though that's technically true. For many years, this planet was home to as many corporations as Terra 2. Back then, it was known as Terra 1. As you may have noticed, this planet has more than its share of hazards.
That ain't fair. They didn't leave on account of the hazards. They left on account of their cowardice. The hazards just gave them a reason to put to paper.
Sharp as ever, Nyoka. And as the other corporations began to tally their losses, they decided to pull out.
Parece inteligente, mas não é certo.
Our leadership at the time certainly wanted to. But there were others of us who saw an opportunity. The chance to improve working hours and conditions, to reform MSI from the ground up. Ah, so you've heard about our prior acquaintance. I suppose you're right. Graham's always had a way with words. Strange as it may seem, I suspect he'd have quite the corporate career if he weren't so radical. Graham seemed like a reasonable man years ago. We both agreed that MSI's treatment of its workers was untenable. I thought reforms would be enough. I didn't realize you wanted to abolish the corporate system entirely.
Por que você tinha tanto interesse em reformar uns anos atrás? Porque certamente você quer voltar ao conselho? Nossa, são muitas perguntas.
Reforms are humane, but they're also good business sense. Exhausted, sick, and malnourished workers are not productive workers. Even a cursory review of the data bears that out.
I hope you'd treat them nice, whether it was good business or not, Mr. Sanjar. That's what being a community means. Treating people right, because it's the right thing to do.
Here, here. That may not be the way the colony works, but it damn well oughta.
A noble thought, Miss Holcomb. Unfortunately, noble thoughts rarely sway board policy. Anyway, we learned of a loophole in the corporate bylaws that would allow MSI to claim ownership of the entire planet once the other corporations pulled out, creating the perfect environment for us to enact these new reforms.
Vejo que a liderança não abraçou suas ideias. Usando as ferramentas do conselho contra eles mesmo, inteligentes, só que...
Technically, that may be true, but he couldn't be bothered to do the necessary paperwork to exploit it now, could he? Anyway, it didn't matter at the time. MSI's then leadership insisted we'd be relocating to Terra 2 along with everyone else.
Pelo visto, você perdeu o transporte.
Yes, some of us stayed behind, and as the most senior executive remaining, I ended up in charge of what was left of MSI. I moved forward with our planned reforms, as well as our strategy to assume ownership of the planet. Yet not long after I renamed it Monarch, the other corporations dislodged us from the board and began an official campaign to paint us as lawless savages.
Mas por que eles fariam isso? Você deveria saber que por eles.
I don't know. Everything we did was legal and above board. We followed their rules, and yet they still found reasons to declare us outlaws. I do think there's something useful in a governing body like the board. Something that keeps us from anarchy, but I dearly wish it functioned differently.
Porque exatamente...
It's straight bullshit is what it is. A fabrication rich folks use to preserve their investments, by leaving a lot of people here to die slow.
Nyoka has the right of it. It's a legal provision that gives the board the authority to cordon off any planet or location that it deems dangerous.
But wait, what happens to the folks stuck on the wrong side of dangerous?
I'm afraid the welfare of a few hundred people is too minor a figure into the board's risk assessments.
Nossa.
Monarch may be dangerous, but it's hardly the wasteland the board describes it to be. Whatever the board's goals, the greater good has little part in them.
Tá.
What can I do for you?
Deixe-me ver pontinhos de habilidade. Vamos por aqui. Vamos por um aqui. Agora aqui, ó. Esse daqui é bom aumentar, mas aqui também é bom aumentar. Reduz significa o peso dos consumíveis. Concede um bônus para a habilidade de algo quando você não tem companheiros em seu grupo. Isso não vai acontecer porque eu sempre vou ter. Você tem uma maneira de convencer os vendedores a pagar mais bits do que deveriam. Isso aqui não. Vamos para esse daqui. Vamos embora então. Deixa eu ver onde é que tá isso aqui. Oh, eu me lembro daqui. Eu só não me lembro como é que eu vou lá.
Do you hear that? It's the blessed sound of radio silence, which leads me to believe you have sweet, sweet news for me.
Não estão mais transmitindo, os dados estão prontos.
Yes, indeed. I am back in business. But before we get down to it, might I ask how you handled the problem? In the end?
We did what we could, as best we could. Should probably leave it at that.
Is that so? I suppose not. Curiosity was always my besetting sin. And we both know I'll find out, eventually.
Quando você descobrir, não tem problema.
Working with Phineas, but my contract specifies I relay any acquired information to the purchaser, and to the purchaser alone. However, to send the data, I will need your assistance in cycling the antenna's receiver, so I can input the needed adjustments.
O Phineas não é de confiar em muita gente. Como você, junto, sem dúvida, vocês... posso aqui.
Don't be ridiculous. We're resetting a broadcast tower, not filing taxes.
Mas vocês sempre me mandam pra um ponto pra pegar não sei o quê, depois pra outro, depois pra outro.
Simple, truly. I merely need you to waltz outside and throw the lever to cycle the power. I'll key in the numerical adjustments from in here.
Só?
Someone has trust issues, though I can't hardly feign surprise. Yes, that is all. No, I am not mocking you. Much. Just step outside, flip the switch...
Não vai ser só isso. Tenho certeza que não vai ser fácil assim.
Good. Marvelous. We're in agreement.
This is why I stopped helping out around here, you know. It's always throw this lever, shoot that marauder, save my life. Just one thing after another with you.
If that's really all, let's just get it done with and be on our way.
Terrific. I'll be here, waiting with bated breath. Give a shout if the panel electrocutes you.
Vamos lá então, né? O que vai estar me esperando aqui fora? Eu tô com a arma errada ainda por cima, porque é que eu tô quase tudo sem munição. Qual vai ser a criatura que vai estar me esperando dessa vez? Internal Anatomy. Vamos, loading.
Can we talk? Hey, got a favor to ask you. Figure while we're out here in the wilderness anyhow, we might stop in on an old friend of mine. Preferably before we get to Hiram's. It's on the way, don't worry. You don't seem the type to run off and get yourself killed, and I could use the help. I'll be upfront with you. I hate asking for help. I hate it. Every time I give someone the opportunity to disappoint me, they seem to make it their most immediate goal. But this, what I'm thinking, it's dangerous.
Me sinto honrada pelo pedido, estou feliz em aceitar. Como posso ajudar? De que tipo de perigo estamos falando?
Really? Here I was steeling myself for inevitable rejection. I used to run with a band of hunters. Friends. 6 of us. We were on Monarch when the corporations pulled out, and we helped a lot of people pick up the pieces. I haven't seen 2 of them in years, and the rest I know to be dead. I'd like to gather their effects and bury them all in the same places, like the family we once were. First, we go to Hayes. I buried him a ways from our encampment. I need to pay my respects. I'll show you where he rests. He had a medallion in his effects. That's what I'll bring home to Barry. Then we find my 2 lost trackers and bring them home. A long time ago, we built an encampment in one of Monarch's cave systems. Trouble is, a mannequin showed up and kicked us all out. If we can find Rebecca and Anders, they'll know how to lure her out. Then we kill the bitch and bury everyone's medallions together.
Vamos ter que matar... Ah, de novo. De novo. Não, não. Ah, não.
Oh, yes. I can't.
Não, eu não quero de novo, não. Ah. Meu, é uma praga esse bicho, velho. Se for igual aquela gigantesca que eu tive que matar, meu Deus do céu.
Testing 1, 2, check, check. Sweet stars. But that is a beautiful sound. Can you hear me? We are a go for broadcast. Oh, and I also dispatched Phineas his data. Impatient prick. Worse, I'm now indebted to him for it. Now I'll kindly thank you to get out of my tower. Look, I am well aware that at times I may have the tiniest iota of a prickly exterior. But
Obrigada.
I must admit I have grown rather fond of you. As Nyoka can attest, I do not form attachments with many. Do take care.
Take care.
Why, he told us to leave without flinging insults at our persons. He really does like you, Captain. What in the void blasted hell is that?
Uma nave?
Black holes. Did you see that?
Óbvio.
Looked like a UDL ship. Based on the gunnery attachments, I'd guess it's one of the board's blockade enforcers, but don't cite me on that. Oh well, a pity for the crew, but I can't see how it affects me. Hiram? Can you hear me? Did you see that? Architect saved me from swindlers and fools. Sanjar, what are you bloody doing on my channel? Did MSI or did MSI not cease broadcasting? Yes, but... Hiram, are you there? The good captain. The truth brings us together once more. Our salvation has come crashing through the stratosphere. We need only collect its weapons. Are you mad? That's a UDL gunship. You'd probably shoot your own toes off.
Tenho certeza de que a gente consegue conversar. Vocês estão agindo como criança.
I see you learned nothing while dealing with these buffoons. We could use the gunship's armaments to defend Stellar Bay, but we need its targeting module. Our message is so close to breaking free of this planet and spreading to the stars. Help us secure that module and we will save our colony. Listen, I don't care a single whit what you do, so long as you leave me out of it. Which means, get off my void damn channel. I am more than finished with you lot.
Oh, meu Deus. Tá vendo só a altura? Tá, fale... Opa. Veja onde a nave pousa. Recupere o módulo de mira. Tá, tem um ponto ali de 500 e pouco. Só que calma lá, deixa eu ver uma coisa aqui. Deixa eu ver onde que tá o dela. Ah, é aqui pertinho. Eu só não quero matar o bicho. Cadê o ponto, gente, que eu não tô enxergando? Ah, tá aqui. Posso pular aqui? Oh, eu vou pra lá. Eu vou pra lá, aí quando eu chegar eu aviso. Eu volto com vocês aqui que é melhor. Ah, não, mais de vocês. Nossa, tem mais um monte. Nossa, tem um grandão. Olha, pra vocês terem batido no grandão. Sai daqui. Outros dois caíram. Ai, saco, bicho, meu fogo não para. Nossa senhora, que bicho chato. Meu Deus. Você quer prestar atenção no grandão e seus larvinhos? Encheção de saco, fica enchendo o saco. Ah, vamos voltar lá pra tentar achar a missão. Agora que eu nem sei como é que eu chego lá embaixo. Ah, então eu cheguei aqui. Tem um rapt gigante ali. Tem o louva rainha aqui. Fia, tô pensando sinceramente se eu faço tua missão, hein. Meu amigo.
Rats. Let's clear this sulfur sun fucks out so Hayes can rest in peace.
Nossa, que tiro baixo. Meu Deus do céu, você errou simplesmente os tiros que você tinha. Boa. Muito bom. Vai, Fia, me ajuda. Sai, Fia, bate nele. Foi. Foi. Meu amigo. Ah. Enterrado perto da superfície do mundo.
Hayes was the best self-sacrificing son of a saint I ever met. Halcyon is worse off without him. Now,
Que lugar pra enterrar ele também?
to Queen out, we'll need to find Rebecca and Anders. They took a UDL contract on Terra 2. We never heard from them again. Think it's time I call in a favor with Hiram. If anyone can track them down, it's him. I don't know much about it. It paid well, so they took it. They said they'd be back in a couple of weeks and that maybe we could all use the money to get off Monarch. That was a long time ago. I should have. I really should have. But soon after they left, Hayes and the others died. And to be honest, after him, I stopped trying. Because it hurt like hell to do so.
Se é que vale de alguma coisa, eu fico feliz que você tenta enfrentar isso.
Thanks. I'm still not convinced I won't come to regret it, but we've started down this path. Might as well see it through. Maybe it'll stop me screaming at night. Now come on, let's make tracks before Hiram dies of old age.
Então, necessariamente, eu não preciso matar aquela lá, né? Porque, né, ele já terminou, né? Deixa eu ver aqui, diário. Nyoka acha aqui. Olha onde nós voltamos. Vamos falar com ele aqui.
So much for peace and quiet. Would it kill the universe to cut me some slack? Oh, great. I love doing pro bono work for friends.
Aw, you called us friends. I'd normally entertain your self-aggrandizing delusions, but this time it's important.
Important to you is not the same as important to me. Although I do recognize that you may have earned some goodwill during your months laboring for me.
Persuadir, ela é sua amiga, precisa de uma mão.
Tug on my heartstrings, why don't you? Look, I'll do what I can, all right?
Rebecca Hodges and Anders Wadsworth. They took a UDL contract back when Monarch went to shit, and I need to find them. I believe them to be on Terra too.
If UDL hired 2 hunters back then, it would have been for creature clearing purposes, round 1 of their Spacer's Choice outposts. These are the coordinates for the outpost under the last UDL contract. Now scram. And, good luck. Yes, the one that crashed. I saw it on the security feed. A bit grainy, but an invigorating watch all the same. What about it?
Foi bem da hora, não?
The board has a blockade of gunships that patrol Monarch. Not a ton, mind you, just enough to deter the masses. I am curious as to what downed it. A faulty part wouldn't be wholly unusual. The supply for new mechanicals is tight. Ugh, now I'll never sleep. Unsolved puzzles really torque my sprockets. If you find out what happened, sell me the info. I'm getting a headache behind my left temple. What could be causing it? The glare from the terminal screen? Or something else? Give my regards to Phineas.
Ok, deixa eu ver. Onde está essa missão? Aqui, ó. Não. Jogo? Ah, tem que sair daqui. Bom, vou pra lá e já volto com vocês, gente. Ah, finalmente chegamos ao ponto aqui. Nossa, eu tive que viajar com a minha nave. Tive que fazer um mó rolê pra cá. Fia, tô ficar berrando. Tem inimigo ali, ó. Bora. Here we go. Oh, meu Deus, ele tá vindo mesmo. Acho que ele... Acho que morreu. Gente, vocês foram apelona agora, hein? Caraca, que orgulho. Mataram eles como se não fosse nada. Tem algo pra cá? Tem um carinha aqui que não tem nada. Tem um baú aqui, ó. Pega. Tem mais um aqui, ó. Pega. Nada. Não. Eu acho que é só isso mesmo. É aqui dentro?
Hey, take a gander. The door's busted. Rebecca? Anders? You in there? I bet you'll like Rebecca. What's up? Huh. Rebecca taught me this once. You can jerry-rig these old locks so as they don't open anymore. But we've only ever done that if we're in a real bind. Here, I'll fix it.
Você não poderia... Oh, eu já vi um corpo ali.
Oh no. What did you do? Oh, Nyoka. I'm so sorry.
Vou descendo assim porque pra quem quiser ler, dar aquela pausa no vídeo, eu vou ler em off aqui que é melhor.
That bitch! They were all set to abandon us! What would Clara say, huh? Every day...
At least I know. Ought to have learned by now that getting one's hopes up tends to open them to being dashed across the stars. I hate to say this, but Clara died thinking her sister was still fighting to get back home. I'm glad. If she were still alive now, it'd break her to know the truth.
Ela ia querer saber igual você quis.
Yeah, maybe. I'm used to disappointment. She was still so naive as to let it hurt her every time it happened. Only thing left is to take these medallions home, which means figuring out how to bait the mana queen out of our old base. The most pissed off I've ever seen a queen was when a foreign species was on her soil. I'd wager the stench of a primal might do the trick.
Você está supondo, tem algum jeito de ter certeza? Eu prefiro já entrar atirando.
That'd be boring. Half the fun in exploring is the fact that you're on an unknown trail. I've never had the pleasure of hunting primals, but I hear they're all over Scylla. Let's tear a few apart, shall we? I'm sure they've got pheromones. Everything does.
Nossa! Pessoal, mas eu vou encerrar esse vídeo por aqui, né? Eu espero que vocês estejam gostando da série de The Elder Roads. Vou pedir para vocês avaliarem o vídeo e, se possível, comentar. Comentem sempre o que eu posso estar melhorando para que eu possa trazendo sempre um conteúdo cada vez melhor para vocês. Considerem se inscrever no canal caso vocês gostem do vídeo ou ele lhe seja útil de alguma forma, porque isso me ajuda muito e me incentiva a estar trazendo cada vez mais e mais vídeos para vocês. E é isso então, pessoal. Obrigada por assistir. Até um próximo vídeo. Valeu e falou!